I recently started going through my back catalogue of games on the original Xbox, and one thing I was always interested about was the games that supported 720p resolution. That's right, on the original Xbox there are certain games that supported resolutions of up to 1080i direct from the console itself, which at the time would have been viewed through a component cable. I have myself a Kaiko HDMI adapter, as well as a soft-modded Xbox to switch to NTSC, which unfortunately is required since PAL Xboxes don't automatically support resolutions of 480p and upwards. I looked up a list of 720p games to see which ones I owned, and one of them happened to be a little game called Freedom Fighters. Now, I'd never really heard of Freedom Fighters, at least not enough to bring it into memory. I'm sure somewhere in the deepest recesses of my gaming mind it existed, but really I had no tangible thoughts about this game. I stuck it in, expecting to play it for a few minutes to see what it looked like in 720p, and alas, I ended up spending many hours playing it. It really is quite addictive. Freedom Fighters is essentially a third-person shooter with light squad mechanics in which you play as a simple plumber turned guerrilla fighting back against the Soviet invasion of the USA. The game features fairly simple mechanics. You run around killing bad guys on semi-open maps, completing certain objectives and increasing the number of squad members you can control. Each level has a different amount of maps which you can complete in any order, netting certain benefits. For example, taking out a helipad first will prevent attack choppers in another part of the level, or taking out a bridge will prevent reinforcements. This gives the player a strategic choice in which order to tackle objectives to achieve the best outcome. The gameplay itself is quite enjoyable. Sending your squad of revolutionaries into huge firefights while commanding them from the back or picking off enemies at the front is really fun. The shooting mechanics are simple but explosive, and the game never takes itself too seriously. Playing this is an interesting contrast to another game I'm playing at the minute, Far Cry 6, which is also about a group of revolutionaries fighting back against an oppressor. It reminded me how the fun in these games really is just about blowing stuff up, and you don't need thousands of collectibles and side missions to keep things interesting. Sometimes the core mechanics are all you need. And I think that's why I'm enjoying Freedom Fighters so much. I didn't intend to play it properly, I was just going to play it for a few minutes to see how it looked, but now I'm hooked. It's not to say the game is perfect. Some levels are really difficult, mainly because of some old style game design with enemies hidden in places that you can't notice until it's too late, or from shoddy AI that doesn't quite do what it's told. And sometimes the game has an overly brown look. Everything is brown, the enemies are brown, the sky is brown, the ground is brown, the buildings are brown, it's just very brown. But that's really besides the point. As if the game is fun, it's fun. And that 720p output really does look nice. Sometimes it feels as if I'm playing an early 360 or PS3 title, rather than a game released in 2003. If you're interested in playing Freedom Fighters today, and don't have an original version, I'm pleased to say there is a re-release on Steam, and according to the user reviews, it looks like they did quite a good job, so that's probably the smart choice if you want to give it a go. Anyway, thanks for listening to this little video of me talking about a random game for a few minutes. Goodbye!